What's up, everybody? It's Conger Live, and in today's video we're going to be going over all the heroes in the Empire faction. After the update, they've changed how we're able to read them in the Heroes of Dominus screen in your Heroes tab, letting us see their potential, not their base info. So there's a lot more details in their skills than what we had in the last series of videos. So get excited. Let's Ninja kick that like button, subscribe for more content, and go get into it. Okay, so they've also changed. Risen used to be on top, now Empire's on top. So we're going to go ahead and go through the Empire first. First up is Alana. All right, so now they're showing level 4, level 3, level 3, level 3. These are the max for the skills. So her Divine Shield, her ult heals allies for 360% power and applies shielded to all allies for 6 seconds. So that power and the time, I think, is what has extended as it's leveled up. Pretty cool. Guarding Presence at the start of battle. Alana gains taunting for 5 seconds. Allies within range of Alana passively gain an additional 5% defense. Empire or warrior allies within range gain an additional 7.5% defense instead. So maxing her out is going to give a lot more defense to the Empire and warrior allies. Her Holy Strike, every 5th basic attack, deals 280% magical damage and purges 3 buffs from the enemy target. So I think it's more often with this basic attack, more damage and purging more buffs. Really cool that the way the potential increases here. And then Empire's Blessing, nearby allies heals 4% power every 2 seconds. Pretty quick. Empire allies heals 8% power instead. That's a lot. And when an ally drops below 50% health for the first time, they gain regenerating for 5 seconds. So really helping to keep her Empire allies alive. It says recommended allies. Helga, Celestine, and Domina. I imagine that the 4 of them together would actually be a really fun dragon team. Okay, we'll go over Ammar, even though I don't have him. He's still, all these are going to be increased. So perform 3 basic attacks in an area, dealing 375% base physical damage per strike. Enemy hit by all 3 attacks are stunned for 4 seconds. Ammar passively deals 150% increased damage to defender enemies. Blood Brothers, at the start of the battle, Ammar becomes aligned with the ally next to him. Whenever Ammar or the aligned ally heals, the other also heals for 75% of the same amount. Huge when you get him exalted. Aligned allies deal 10% increased damage. If the aligned ally is Empire, the healing bonus becomes 100% and the damage bonus becomes 15% instead. So definitely some potential there with him. Showing these 3 as the recommended allies. I would imagine I would want him to be aligned with Helga personally. Helga's just amazing. Unstoppable Force, when an Ammar drops below 50% of his maximum health for the first time, he gains shielded for 7 seconds, preventing 50% of the incoming damage and enraged for 10 seconds. When enraged, Ammar deals 50% more damage to his attacks. Ignore dodging. A lot of potential for some damage output from Ammar. And after Ammar uses 5 basic attacks, or after an aligned hero uses their ultimate ability, Ammar's next basic attack deals 350% base physical damage. If the attack is a hammer strike, it applies 2 stacks of slowed to enemy hit. And if the attack is an axe strike, it applies 2 stacks of injured and applies inhibited for 5 seconds to enemy's hit. So whenever an aligned hero uses their ultimate ability, that's another reason why I think Helga would be the best. She has the fastest ult with only 50 cost. So he's going to be able to do a lot more damage if you partner him with her. Pretty amazing stuff. Okay. Celestine. So her ultimate heals Celestine and surrounding allies over time by 100% every 6 seconds. Every second for 6 seconds. 100%. Wow, that's a lot. One nearby fallen ally is resurrected with 50% health. So we know that is increased because it was 20% at the at level 1. So at level 4, 50%. That's huge. And if no allies were resurrected, Celestine charges 15% energy, and I think it started off at 10. So definitely a lot more potential, making her much more effective the higher you can level her up. Her Discord knows every 5th basic attack deals 140% magical damage. The attack also applies 1 stack of weaken to the enemy and the target and 2 other random enemies. So you got to level it all the way up to get 2 other random enemies. Pretty cool. And then Inspiring Song, after every 14 seconds, Celestine charges 20% energy for 1 other ally. 20% energy. Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good. At the start of battle, whenever an ally dies, Celestine applies 1 stack of hasten to all allies. Empire allies gain 2 stacks of hasten instead. Definitely, this hasten works really, really well with Helga and Domina. I definitely see this for Empire as a great for Empire team. So let's get into Domly. At his max, deals 700% magical damage in a line and applies inhibited for 5 seconds to enemies hit. Inhibited is great. They can't gain buffs. Mage allies start battles with 2 stacks of hastened. When an ally or an enemy uses their ultimate ability, mage allies gain 2 stacks of hastened. So Domly could definitely be used on some other mage teams to help them get some damage out faster. Imagining something like Pyro, partnering well with him to get more stacks of burn going. Worldly Insight passively increased the duration of buffs applied to mage allies by 2 seconds. Mage allies' basic attacks have an increased 1% chance to crit for each stack of buff to them. Ah, okay. That's nice. To mage allies, I think at level 1 it's only to himself. But now it's gone up to mage allies. Really, really cool. And whenever Domly hits an enemy with an attack, Domly gains 2 stacks of arcane in the membrane. Whenever another mage ally hits an enemy with an attack, Domly gains 1 stack of aim in the membrane, arcane in the membrane. Domly deals an extra 3% damage per stack at a max of 50 stacks. Oh my gosh. So it was only like 1% damage at 20 stacks at level 1. And I think he had to be the one to use the... That's insane. Wow. He could do a lot of damage. So that's why I think Domly would be really good for the dragon, because you know you're going to last for those 2 minutes, hopefully. So he could really start putting out a lot of damage late in that match, which is going to be needed against the dragon. Really, really cool. And then we'll look at Helga. Helga is right now probably my favorite hero. In the last video where I did this, I wasn't sure how I felt about her. Now I'm absolutely in love. Her hammer hurl energy cost 50. It's the fastest ult in the game. Attacks in a line, hitting 2 times, each dealing 130% physical damage and applying 1 stack of shock. She is the queen of shock to each enemy hit. Per hit, Helga takes damage equal to 5% of her current health. So this goes down. It was 10%, and now it goes down to 5. So the higher level you can get her, the more survivable she's going to be, the more damage she's going to do. Pretty insane. Crushing blows every 5th basic attack deals 315% physical damage and applies 3 stacks of wounded to the target. 3 stacks. Ouch. Wounded is going to make it to where they take more damage. Yeah, that's great. Battle Shout after every 9 seconds applies 2 stacks of strengthen to nearby allies and drains 15% energy from all nearby enemies. Brawler and frontline allies also gain 2 stacks of hastened. So you set up your team correctly. She's giving everybody. She could be giving everybody hastened if you got nothing but brawlers up front, or you put the brawlers in the back. Wow. Wow. And then with Helga's health drops below 50% max health, she gains 3 stacks of hastened, while under 50% max health, she deals an additional 25% damage. And at level 1, this is 20% max health. So as she levels up and as Celestine levels up, the res supports her. They support each other so well. Her specifically to Helga. And just that extra damage when she's under, and to have a higher threshold to when she can start putting more damage out is just amazing. Yeah, leveling up Helga is definitely the way to go. Really, really cool. And the last epic hero is Pyro. Pyro deals 420% magical damage to all enemies with a circle area and applies 4 stacks of burning to each enemy hit. 4 stacks, that is a lot. And then whenever Pyro applies burning to an enemy, he deals 50% magical damage and purges 2 buffs on that enemy. So very, very cool. Kind of a support role, even though he's a striker, to purge those buffs. Really, really nice. Every 6th basic attack deals 285% magical damage and applies 1 stack of burning to the initial target. The attack also does 50% magical damage to enemies near initial target. So he's got a splash damage fireball every 6th attack. Pretty cool. Putting out more and more burning, and fire allies passively deal an additional 50% damage to burning enemy targets. When a fire ally kills an enemy, fire allies charge 20% energy. So yeah, you definitely want to put him on a fire burn team if we're looking at things like that. Of course, he is also a maybe he's not a mage, maybe he's a sorcerer, so maybe that he wouldn't work with Domina. Yeah, because there's mage and sorcerer, so you got to be aware of that kind of stuff. But yeah, really, really cool. Now even the 3 stars can be taken up to legendary plus. So they do have 3 skills at level 3. We can go over them. Basically, his heal gets better. This is basically the same. There is no change to Shield of Faith. And whenever an ally, this just heals for more, right? So you're going to see some increase in awesomeness with these 3-star heroes, but for the most part, they're fodder. They're for boosting and ranking up your better heroes. Mithril, more damage, more stacks of weakened, which is really, really cool. And then all allies gain a stack of strengthened and defended, and warrior allies gain 2 stacks instead. Not bad. And then adds 3 stacks of mark to the attacking enemy. Deals 50% increased damage to taunting enemies. So Mithril could be useful against like some tanks, maybe help eliminate them, but overall I wouldn't put too much stock in the 3-star heroes. The last one here is Sylvian. He gets a little bit more damage output from his brambles and more stacks of injured, and then gains 1 stack of strengthened, and nature allies gain 2 stacks of strengthened. Natural selection, I don't think that changed. Maybe it wasn't nature allies, maybe it was just him, and now it's nature allies. And then Elven Grace, every 7th basic attack deals 315% magical damage and can't be dodged. That's really cool, can't be dodged. All elf allies gain 2 stacks of dodging. So he could maybe be useful on an elf team. We could maybe look into some of that stuff, but don't want to invest too much in these guys. They are used to rank up your epic heroes to get them to legendary and eventually exalted. Alright, thanks so much for watching. This is our Empire Heroes video. Not going to go over the commons because they're exactly the same. You can't rank them up, so they're always going to be bottom of the barrel. Retire them. Ninja, kick the like button, subscribe for more content, and we'll see you in the next video.